to find his missing daughter. This veteran elite agent, who has spent years living under a hidden identity, transforms back into a relentless force of vengeance. He opens a hidden compartment and pulls out a briefcase loaded with weapons, fits a pair of specialized tactical glasses, and heads alone into the heart of gang territory. He's already learned the full story behind Minji's disappearance from a small-time thug. After Minji left home, Wirui, seeking revenge, had a group of thugs use Namhun's phone to lure her out under false pretenses. By the time she realized something was wrong, she was already completely surrounded with no way to escape. Forced to face Wirui alone, she does her best to stay composed. Without a word, Wirui slaps her across the face, drawing mocking laughter from the group. In Wirui's mind, a simple transfer isn't punishment enough. Minji needs to kneel and apologize publicly. But unlike her father Jack, Minji refuses to simply endure it. She fights back immediately. Caught off guard that Minji would actually retaliate, Wirui grapples with her, but it's clear Minji has the physical advantage, and Wirui ends up thrown to the ground. One of the thugs nearby rushes in, grabbing Minji and punching her hard in the stomach. As he continues beating her, an enraged Wirui grabs a brick and slams it down on the back of Minji's head. She crashes hard into a pile of rubble, taking another blow to the skull, and blood quickly stains the ground beneath her. Watching students nearby try to call the police are forcibly stopped by the thugs, who threaten that everyone present will be treated as accomplices and confiscate every phone on the scene. One of the thugs knows Minja, an enforcer with the Gold Tooth gang, and immediately calls him for help disposing of the body. Minja initially refuses, but Wirui grabs the phone from him and blurts out that her father is none other than Chairman Zhu. The moment the Gold Tooth gang's boss, Gold Tooth himself, learns whose daughter is involved, he rushes to the scene with two of his men, stuffs Minji into the trunk of a car, and personally escorts Wirui home. On the way back, Gold Tooth secretly records the entire exchange of Wirui demanding they dispose of the body. Curious, Wirui asks exactly how they plan to handle it. Gold Tooth tells her, matter-of-factly, that they'll gut the body completely and sink it into the ocean, ensuring it never resurfaces. Having never glimpsed this dark underworld before, Wirui turns ghostly pale on the spot, barely even registering how she makes it back home. Before parting ways, Gold Tooth issues a stern warning: under no circumstances can Chairman Zhu learn what happened tonight, or none of them will see a good outcome. Meanwhile, Jack, his face a mask of pure intent to kill, has already arrived at one of the Gold Tooth gang's hideouts. Without wasting a word, he goes straight to work with his fists, scanning every face in the room until his gaze lands on a black market doctor. And behind him, lying on a hospital bed, a girl barely clinging to consciousness. The sight sends an icy chill through Jack's eyes, and he sends the doctor flying with a single punch before pushing deeper into the building. Minja tries to flee, but stumbles only a few steps before tripping over a trap Jack had set in advance. A former elite agent never leaves an enemy room to retreat. Searing pain shoots through his legs, and he screams in agony. Jack approaches slowly, each step radiating menace. Minja quickly insists he has no idea where Minji actually is. Every operation within the Gold Tooth gang is run independently, and members only communicate through temporary chat groups set up whenever a superior needs something done. Jack orders him to contact his superior, but Minja explains that's impossible. Unless their boss reaches out first, there's no way to initiate contact, and every chat room is deleted the moment an operation concludes. The instant he finishes speaking, Minja shouts for backup, calling for his men to take Jack down. Confused by his sudden confidence, Jack soon learns why. Minja claims he's a minor, untouchable by the law. Hearing this, Jack pulls out a weapon, replying coldly that the law has no hold over him either. The shot lands, and Minja immediately begs Jack to call an ambulance. The next moment, Gold Tooth himself reaches out to Minja, demanding he make absolutely sure those kids stay silent. Jack doesn't hesitate. He calls the number back immediately, but the move backfires. Rather than yielding any clue to his daughter's whereabouts, it alerts Gold Tooth, who instantly orders his men to shut down the chat and dump their phones. In this moment, even a once unstoppable elite agent feels, for the first time, a crushing sense of helplessness. A single tear slips down his face. His daughter's disappearance has stripped away every ounce of the composure once expected of a top agent. Years earlier, his wife had passed away shortly after giving birth to Minji. Her final wish, that Jack protect their daughter no matter what it took. It's precisely because of that promise that Jack had once held a gun to his commanding officer, forcing his own discharge just so he could raise her himself. To him, Minji isn't just more precious than his own life. She's the living embodiment of his late wife's final request. That's exactly why he's now willing to cross every line an agent is trained never to cross. A group of police officers suddenly storms in and takes him into custody. But just as he's being escorted away, a man wearing diving goggles surfaces from the scene nearby. A top-tier assassin sent by North Korea, with a single mission: eliminate Jack. It turns out that, not long ago, footage of Jinja brutally beating those thugs at the restaurant had been uploaded online. No one could have predicted that North Korea's intelligence bureau would spot it. Recognizing Jack in the footage, they ran a search and discovered, to their shock, that he was their most wanted fugitive. A man they'd believed dead for years, killed during a covert mission. Only now do they realize they'd been deceived all this time. Even more unbearable to them is the revelation that their once greatest agent had defected to South Korea. During his service in North Korea, Jack had operated under the codename 66. 66, a designation originally belonging to another legendary agent, who Jack himself had killed years earlier, inheriting the codename in the process. Determined to eliminate Jack once and for all, North Korean leadership tracks down the younger brother of that original Agent 66, who, by sheer coincidence, has also become an agent himself. The mission to kill Jack falls squarely on his shoulders. Meanwhile, South Korean intelligence has also noticed something is deeply wrong. The agency that's been secretly monitoring Jack discovers his recent movements have spiraled completely outside their control. Digging further, they uncover Jinja's background as well, learning that he and Jack had carried out numerous covert infiltration missions into North Korea together over the years. Director Khan, the official overseeing Jack's surveillance, turns out to be the very same superior officer Jack had once coerced into approving his discharge. Now that North Korea has discovered Jack is still alive, it's certain they've already mobilized. Director Khan cannot allow someone this dangerous to fall back into North Korean hands, meaning South Korea must locate Jack before North Korea does, at any cost. Within a single night, two opposing forces launch a simultaneous manhunt, and Jack, utterly unaware, has become the target of both. The North Korean operative who infiltrated South Korea has already made contact on the streets and learned which police station is currently holding Jinja. The next morning, he strolls casually into the station, subdues a guard in the restroom, swaps into his uniform, and approaches Jinja as though nothing's amiss. But the moment their eyes meet, Jinja senses something is off. Faced with the weapon in the man's hand, however, he has no choice but to prioritize his own safety, ultimately revealing the location of Jack's home. Once he's secured his safety, Jinja knows he can't afford to remain in custody any longer. He turns to a fellow inmate, asking for a favor. The guard, seeing the commotion, hurries to unlock the cell door, and Jinja seizes the opportunity to escape. Meanwhile, Wirui sits restlessly in her room, unable to shake the terror of having taken a life for the first time. She scours the internet obsessively for any news, desperate to know whether the body's been discovered. But even with no news surfacing, the fear refuses to lift. Worse still, Jack's scarred body and the murderous look in his eyes keep resurfacing in her mind like a recurring nightmare. Then Chairman Ju appears, telling Wirui not to worry. He'll protect her. Ju's ruthlessness goes far beyond what anyone might imagine. Every step that brought him to his current position was built on bodies left behind along the way. No one understands this better than Goldtooth, who witnessed Ju's brutal methods firsthand back when he worked for him, and knows full well that the bodyguards surrounding Ju are all former Special Forces mercenaries. Precisely because of the deep-seated grudge between them, Goldtooth's apparent assistance with Wirui's cover-up is, in truth, a calculated move to gather leverage against Ju himself. He deliberately edits the recording, trimming and rearranging it into an entirely different version of events. Back at the police station, Jack remains completely silent, refusing to respond no matter how the officers press him. With no other option, they attempt to identify him through fingerprint analysis. But when the system finishes the comparison, the screen simply displays 4 words: insufficient access clearance. As confusion spreads among the officers, Jack's phone suddenly rings. One of them reflexively reads the caller ID aloud, "Daughter." Just 2 words, but they're enough to instantly transform the dead look in Jack's eyes. Minji isn't dead after all. In the moment Goldtooth and his men let their guard down, lying in the trunk, her finger twitches faintly. In that instant, hope reignites in Jack, a man who had nearly given up entirely. But what awaits him next is an even more dangerous, deadly trap. See you next time.